So we've obviously spent a big chunk of time here talking about using height and defending to the back, but I think one thing we obviously haven't discussed, and which you were a great proponent of, was counter drops and effectively defending at the front, but kind of counter-attacking. So do you want to talk us through some of that process? I know you had an interesting kind of thought process against Ramy as well. So maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I often sort of use Ramy as an example. I mean, obviously because he was such a challenge in that respect. But and I suppose it was when he came along that we had to think more cleverly in these terms, because the room for error became even less. But at the front, I suppose I think I almost, with him, I had it as a sort of set thing where, and to be honest with a lot of players I do the same now, but there are two real options, and if I'm in trouble at the front, it has to be more or less, not always, but the lob or the counter drop would be the other option. And in this case, it is a defensive shot, I suppose, but it's a drop, so it can turn into a shot that can help to, or possibly win you a rally. There were just such better options than hitting or hitting straight, giving away a stroke and that sort of thing. So I think I would have it in a game plan against, and I certainly remember it against Ramy, where it would be like, if I'm in that front corner, those are the two options, and that's
straight and cross court lob, or
straight and cross court lob, mainly cross court. But it would be the other option to change that would be the counter drop. I could get onto it and take it in.
And are you thinking short swing, showing your opponent that really those are your two options, just being happy? You're not. What are you thinking about, a bigger swing?
I mean, that's fine as well. I mean, if you have time against these players, then by all means, shake it up as much as possible. But often it was a matter of I'm in a pretty tough state here. I've got to get from the tee. There's my option. It's safe. It's not giving them the time. It's probably the furthest amount of running they'd have to do from wherever they are. So it is a really sound shot, and I think a lot of people just sometimes do forget, me included, the simple straight drop shot from the front is just so effective, and it really safe. You're unlikely to get stroked off it unless it clips a sidewall. If you can just get it right, play it simply, get down to it again, you obviously need that strong position. But that was an incredibly important defensive shot for me.
And you see, really, I mean, you're thinking soft and tight ultimately, right?
So,
as close to the front wall as possible.
Soft and tight, not going too, close to the tin. But it's in that corner, isn't it? And they've got to make the lunge. They've got to hopefully scrape it off a wall. And it just isn't giving them that free volley that you just can't afford to give them. So often I would make it very clinical. Often, like these are the two shots I will play in that corner. Sometimes I had to be that strict, because if I did tempt myself with playing the straight or the cross court, it was just too much trouble for me to handle. So,
well, it obviously worked. So I mean, that's a fascinating insight into your approach to defending there. So thank you very much for taking the time with us today, and hopefully that will offer some sound advice to you guys at home.